Hey, Steve Zook here. Welcome back to Folks You Channel and the Guitar Layer System. Hey, I've been adjusting the neck every day on this guitar. This really rare 69 Yamaki made in Japan guitar. One of the nicest sounding guitars I've owned in 35, 40 years. Not trying to oversell it. I'm just saying it really, really has a sound. It's super rare back. The thing on this guitar is it plays a ton better than when I first bought it, but it still needs a little dialing in. Some luthiers do not understand how to think outside the box. Maybe they're hurting to make rent and they just want to sell you a neck reset for you know a decent little chunk of money. But I've had a lot of guitars with this kind of a setup, and there's several things you can do which are relatively inexpensive. One thing this guitar can have done is just lower at the nut. It's got the 0 fret, so probably the fret needs to be sanded down, and the grooves a little bit lower here because it is a little high at the nut. That's one thing that can be done. I'm still adjusting the neck. Every time I adjust the neck, by the way, the guitar just seems to sound even more musical. It's been really interesting adjusting the neck. I've already got 2 offers from overseas. I'm not real crazy about shipping overseas. If somebody can work with me, and we can come up with something that we can both live with, maybe. Um, the main thing was when I bought this guitar, I didn't exactly steal it, because it's such a rare guitar. I wanted to be fair to the guy. So I probably paid more for it than most people would imagine, but it's just such a tremendous. I could see the potential of the guitar, even though when I bought it, it wasn't very playable. But I've got it like 80% better than when I bought it. And every time I even think about playing this guitar, I get excited. Cosmetically, it's just beautiful. I do have the truss rod cover, by the way, but it's just such a beautiful guitar. And like I said, I've had guitars like this before. I even talked to John Carruthers about this because he's a great luthier, and I said, "Hey, if a guitar really sounds great, do you really think a neck reset is the only option?" And he agreed with me that it's not. You can just you have to kind of find a luthier that's willing to just think outside the box, who's not hurting to make it. I'm not saying all luthiers are hurting to make rent, but yeah, they have overhead, and they need to sell and make money like any business. But all you really need to do, I used to have a friend that used to do this. I used to buy him like lunch, and he'd do it for free, or sometimes I'd pay him $100. Yeah, but he moved. You just sand the bridge down lower. You take this bridge piece, this metal piece out, and you sand the bottom of it, and you just put some attention in the bridge here, which lowers it down a little bit. Um, but I've had blues players that would probably like this as is, but there's some rattle. This is rattling a little bit. That does not seem like something that's major. I don't, like I said, my philosophy is, I've only had one guitar that I've had a neck reset done in like 30, I think in 30 years. So this guitar needs a little attention. So I just don't want to sell it to somebody because sometimes I would say 98% of the guitars I sell are pretty nice and playable as is. Although setup is very subjective. Sometimes things on guitars can shift in shipping, and that's not bullshit. But most guitars I sell are pretty nice. But setup is very subjective. It's very, very common to maybe spend a little money on setup. I think some people have an unreasonable expectation of used guitars. But and it all depends on how picky you are. But like I said, most guitars I sell are pretty nice as is, but I can't guarantee they're exactly how you like them. But I would say most guitars I sell, people are pretty cool with them. But you can buy a new guitar for $3,000 that needs setup work. I mean, setup work is kind of like buying a car, and then you gotta get maybe get some tires or something. It's not a big deal. You don't want to overthink it. But this guitar was so rare, I just had to buy it. And I need to make a little bit of profit on it. Uh, I think at one point I had it at $649. I'd really like to get more like $799 for it, somewhere in there, you know. But I just adjusted the neck for probably the ninth time, which is a good thing because every time I adjust it, it looks better. It looks better. The guitar just seems to keep getting more musical, and there's more adjustments I can do. And like I said, the action keeps getting better the more I adjust it. But this does need a little attention. You might need to, have it, set up how you like it and have some of the issues dealt with. So you lower the action a little bit more. You don't want to lower it too much. You're going to lose tone. I even had a big huge chain call me on this guitar because I think they have a collector in Japan that just loves these things and buys every one he can get. That has something rare about it. What's rare about this one is the figured back. Most of the Yamakis don't have a figured back, and figured, highly figured and flame mahogany is super, super rare. I mean, it's, try to find guitars on the net that have, flamed, figured mahogany. It's pretty darn rare. If you want to see pictures of this, you can go to reverb.com, and there's not that many Yamakis on there. You can, or if you want to email me, I'll send you a link to my Reverb ad. If you saw this guitar on Pics channel on YouTube, I prefer you buy directly from me, because there's no reason for me to have to pay a Reverb internet marketing advertising fee if you saw it on my YouTube channel, right? If you saw it originally on the Reverb, well then I'm happy to pay Reverb their fee. But if you saw it originally on my Pics channel on YouTube, there's no reason I don't want to pay a fee. But yeah, anyway, I just adjusted the neck again, and we're still getting a little of that rattle in the bridge. That doesn't seem like a major thing, but like I said, I don't know how to fix it, just to be honest with you. But I want you to hear this, because it just keeps sounding better and better, man. Imagine I might be able to just put a piece of paper in there or something to tighten that up, for now. But every time I adjust the neck on this, the guitar just sings even more. It's got the most beautiful, round, mid-rangey, mid-bass blend with the treble, kind of I would call pianistic. I grew up with two big grand pianos in the house. My mom was one of the best classical piano teachers in the world. So I heard great tone, for growing up. And I'm barely picking it right now to avoid the bridge rattling. I've never had a guitar that sounds like this. I'm playing all up and down the neck, and it's fine for me, but I mean, somebody might want to dial this in a little bit. So what I'm concerned about is I don't want to, some people believe that every time they buy a used guitar, and it can be the case many times, but some people don't understand. They have kind of unrealistic expectations. It's very common for a used guitar or even a new guitar to need some setup work. So I just don't want any hassles to whoever I sell this to. And the more I play it, the more I'm thinking, man, why am I letting this guitar go? There was a time when that little piece wasn't rattling at all, so maybe just, I don't think it's a big deal. But bottom line, this guitar is worth every dime you'd put into it, because it's just an amazing instrument. Keep this short. I just want you to hear this. This guitar sounds amazing. I'll tell you, this guitar is worth $7.99 just for the back. It really is. But like I said, I just need to make a little profit on this. I mean, at $6.49, I'm kind of like, I don't know, man, if it's worth it. Because like I said, I tried to be fair with the guy when I bought it. Anyway, I'm in no rush to sell this, but something tells me it's going to go pretty soon, but I really don't care. This is an amazing instrument. made in '69. Cosmetically, it's in pretty darn beautiful shape. My God, you know. But yeah, it's really, really a sweet guitar. Just needs a little attention, like most old. I mean, most old guitars, most 30, 40, 50-year-old guitars do need a little attention, you know. And you know, you set up is subjective, so you want to have it dialed in how you like it, you know. It doesn't really need to come down that much more, you know. Another thing you could do is just put tens on it. You might be able to play it as is, but like I said, I believe in full disclosure. But yeah, it really, really has a sound. All right, folks. Let's all stay positive out there, okay? I'm visualizing a dark energy on the planet, and then I'm visualizing all the dark energy and negative thoughts and problems turning into a black ball of energy, and then pulling all that energy away from the earth and sending it to the sun to disintegrate. That's what I'm visualizing.